morning or afternoon, everybody. Okay, I need more coffee for sure. How y'all doing?
Doing good, Jason. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. So glad to see y'all are on. There's my esteemed co-host for everything, Curt. So glad to see you, sir. And thank you for the patience while we were getting everything started. So, industry update. Let me start with this fun question. What are you guys seeing out there?
Seems like the market is
Go ahead,
seems like
Steve.
the market is shifting a little bit. Not totally buyers, but seems to be shifting in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I see.
Okay, awesome. Anybody else?
I think buyers are starting to get acclimated to the new norm. And there's the ones that have been straddling the fence are starting to. And I think their followers, is my prediction, will follow suit in the spring.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So a few years ago, I said something on our coffee talk that we do here at Midtown that the first weekend that's sunny and 60 in January is the beginning of spring market in Atlanta. And this past weekend when actually New Year's weekend was the first sunny and 60 weekend in January. But anyway, I think we are gonna get a pop probably in the next week or so. What do you think, Curt? Because I have talked to several agents today that in that nasty cold rain yesterday, they had open houses that were really busy, or they were out showing property to buyers that wanted to go see property in the cold, nasty rain.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think nationwide and within our metro Atlanta area, yeah, we've definitely seen a slowdown and direct correlation with the rise in interest rates. And that was done on purpose, with the way the housing market was going, inflation. The Fed wanted to do something to slow things down, and it did definitely slow things down. And what we're seeing now, at least what I'm seeing, is that the buyers who are out there that were just frustrated, they submitting offer after offer and getting rejection after rejection. They don't have the 20, 30, and 40 and $50,000 to throw on top of whatever is asking. Now they have the opportunity to jump back in the market and secure a home. Whereas before, I'm getting calls, from those past buyers who are like, is it time now? Can I do it? And I said, yeah, things are a little bit different. You may not qualify for as much as you used to. However, what you do have to spend, you have a greater chance of getting what you're looking for. So
yeah, I mean the counterbalance is you don't have to go $50,000 over the list price anymore. So now your budget was $350. Now your budget's still $350. Instead of hoping to be able to afford $400 in order to buy a $350 home. So I know that when I've hosted this call before, we have gone over several things. And one of the things that Curt and I wanted to go over, of course, is the last 7-day stats. But Curt, what did you see when you saw it? I'm going to do a screen share and you just, tell me what you're seeing. So last week we had an uptick of an additional 40-ish listings in Fulton County, for example. Active under contract, we had an uptick as well of 116. Pendings, 230 homes moved into pending. And then we had an uptick of closings at 154. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, like you say, when we know that fourth quarter, we generally slow down anyway. We like to say people turn to pumpkins, our agents turn into pumpkins during that time. It's only the most motivated buyers that are out there looking to secure a home. So yeah, we're gonna have that dip, and it begins to, and then you have a tiny uptick of those that want to buy a house before the end of the year for tax purposes and, be in the house by the holidays. So I think we're going to continue with the annual trends. It's going to be really low, and it's going to pick up, hit spring, and then of course by August, what do we usually get? It stalls out because everyone wants to be in a home before before school starts.
Yep.
So it looks to be pretty much on trend. And I think that consumer confidence is starting to rise again as far as home buyers, because the interest rates seem to have stabilized a little bit. I hear that the Fed is not looking to increase it again. So I'm feeling optimistic about it. I think we're pretty much on trend from where we've been year in, year out.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that the way you did, because I love this graph at the bottom down here, because at January 23rd, Fulton County had 571 active listings. And then we think about what all happened in 2022 and how crazy 2021 was, et cetera. If we go back to January 24th of 2024, we had 501 active listings in Fulton County. Okay. Well, we have a little bit more inventory, which we've all been begging for the last, ever since I've been in the business. So the last 7 years, we've been begging for more inventory. So there's not as much competition if you're helping a buyer. And if you look at under contract, 164 active under contracts in Fulton County a year ago versus 116. So literally 50 people more went under contract or less than we had a year ago. And when we think about the market a year ago versus the market we're in right now, there's a lot of people out there going doom and gloom, and we're not in a doom and gloom market. You still have buyers that need to buy, sellers that need to sell. It's the agents and controlling the narrative, which is always my theme when I host this, is control the narrative. And stats.
And with that inventory, which is it's funny, you've had very, very low inventory for, it's been longer than the pandemic, when that hit. The only thing with the pandemic was during those weird years is after the initial, what was it? I guess about in April, that March, that February, March, and then April, where everything seemed to slow down for a slump and then just accelerated. As these houses, hit, they were just taken off the market so quickly. The amount of sales that were actually happening, it wasn't that big of a change. It was just that you put a house on the market and within hours, if it stayed on the market for days, that was a big deal. These houses were just getting swapped up. So if you've been in the market just, probably 2 to 3 years, a lot of us aren't even used to a normal market, which it seems we're just now heading into. But then we're in Atlanta, and Atlanta is not the national scene. We have a lot of things going on that Jason would probably talk about that, makes us different from, some of the other major cities in the nation and, just overall.
Yeah, our job market, as long as our job market and our unemployment stays as low as it is, we're going to be fine when it comes to real estate, as long as we continue to do what we're supposed to be doing. So everybody on here is in heart of Atlanta, so everybody should be having access to one of my favorite things, which is Chartmasters. And with Chartmasters, this particular go around, they actually included a new presentation, which is nothing but the synopsis. It's an 8-page presentation about what is going on in all those reports. And there's some real interesting things that I want to show you, especially when it comes to the in-town market. So One thing, median price went up 6% in fourth quarter 2022 versus 2021. Sales price to list price, though, went down almost 3%. Days on market is now 31 days versus 20 days in 2021. And Curt, just like you were talking about, we all think, and so do sellers, by the way, and some buyers, that time period that we had where we put it in the MLS and then we took 3 days to filter through 100 offers all over list price, and that's the only reason the days on market was 3. It wasn't really that wild and crazy at the end of 2021. We were up to a 20-day, and this is in town. We were up to a 20-day average days on market. So when we're sitting here, we're talking to our sellers, we're talking to our buyers, we need to use this information to just help set these expectations of what's coming up. One of the biggest things that really freaked me out was overpriced listings. 72% of the listings in town, single family homes, were deemed overpriced in fourth quarter of last year. 72%. I had to read that like 3 times before I was like, wait, what? That's insane.
Well, a lot of that comes off of, well, yeah, a lot of houses were overpriced. What were we doing as listing agents? So, well, whatever price we wanted to, really just throw it up there. This house sold for that amount. Let's throw $10,000-$20,000 on top of it, and it was selling. So
Right.
you didn't really need to know what you were doing in 2020 and 21. If you were on a listing side to get a house sold, if you got a listing, you had gold. As we, ventured out, we ended 2022, and the interest rates had hiked up. So you had all those buyers that were out there who didn't need to buy. It was simply, I could sell my house for this exorbitant amount of money, throw it on top of the next house, which is an upgrade, and keep my mortgage the same. They were no longer in the market. But as a listing agent, if you were using that same criteria of just, oh, this house sold for that amount and throwing it up, which, why not during those,
Right.
the golden time, then your house is going to now sit there because the demand isn't there. So I think we're now, as real estate agents and listing agents, having to, let's do the homework. What does it really need to do? And actually, how do I really sell this house now? I really need good photos. I can't just take my phone and just throw it up. So the market is definitely shifting, and we're going to see that those agents with the skill set, the ones that look at these kind of reports, you guys are all on this call now, and you have access to it. And if you hadn't seen it before, I'm sure you'll all go look and study it up and hear what we have to say about it. This is going to, just speaking these talk tracks, saying these numbers is going to be a different, make you different, can say the word, than most of the agents out there. So this is really, really good information.
Yeah, I think the supply statement down here at the bottom, that we gained almost 2 months of supply in December of 2022 versus December of 2021. That puts us still at 3 months, which is smack dab in the middle of seller's market. When you're looking at, how much supply do we need to have? We're still right in the middle of a seller's market. But you're, with the overpriced listings being 72% of all the listings, you guys, when you're going into your listing appointments, you need to say, hey, listen, I know that they told you that they could sell it for this, but the data is telling us, no, they can't. And I want to be honest with you and show you the data. And really looking at what's going on in the neighborhood. I just literally finished a consult with an agent who was on a listing appointment, and the seller said, well, every other agent I've talked to said that they're required to list the home for 6 months, no no less than 6 months. And that's agents going in and saying that my listing agreement's for 6 months, and the seller is either misinterpreting or the agents are misexplaining what that section of the listing agreement means. So they're doing the same thing with the pricing. And
Yeah.
we gotta go in and tell them, it's like, listen, this is what the price really needs to be. And show them that. Following up that single family in town, when we look at condo and condo and townhome, days on market was at 22. For median days on market, the price increased to 325 over 2021. Overpriced listings only 53%. That's sad that I'm saying only 53% of the listings in condo and townhomes were overpriced. And supply is still at 2.2 months. That's insane.
When I see that, what I think as a listing agent is you don't want to have a listing that's chasing the market down. I mean, with this information
Absolutely.
here, you have to say, all right, I think looking at the houses that are currently for sale, I know this is kind of goes against, what we've normally done. If you're looking at, okay, what houses just sold, looking at the sold comps, purely to come up with a price point, you gotta look at what's out there and how long have these homes been sitting. And then the rest of the homes are 400,000 and they've been sitting for, and we just use these numbers, longer than 20 days, you need to list below that. And maybe by a certain percentage, we have percentages right here. Is it 5% lower than what's currently being offered to be competitive and get your house sold? Because they were initially overpriced, 53%, and I forgot what the other percentage was, 72% on the other page. That means that they probably did sell, but they had to drop their price. That doesn't look good for you as a listing agent, let alone, that confidence that they will have in you. You really need to let them know what is going on. It is a strong market, but it's not a crazy pandemic market anymore. So you have to, explain that.
We're not in that unprecedented market anymore. My least favorite word of 2020, unprecedented. All right, so what do you guys think about that? What are your thoughts?
I think that's 100% true, and especially in this type of market, pricing it ahead of the market, it's so important, because if it's priced right, you're still going to get multiple offers. And every market is very, very hyper local. Like last week, I listed a property and we received 70 offers because we priced it ahead of the market. And this week, I listed another property and we received 14 offers. So as long as it's priced right, right now the market is literally a beauty contest and a price competition.
Yeah. I remember when I met our new team leader, Lee, we were just kind of talking about, our thoughts on the industry and what have you. And I said, there's 3 things that affect a home selling. It's price, location, and condition. And he said, no, there's actually 4. It's price, location, condition, and presentation. And just like you said, it's a beauty contest. Photos matter, staging matters. The ability for the buyers to visualize them living in the home matters more now than it has in the last 3 years. So it's not just the condition is, or is the roof caving in? It's how does it look? Absolutely. And congrats, 70 offers on one property, 14 on another, and you only need 1. I love how 2020 and 2021 redefined multiple offer. Multiple offer means you got 2. Doesn't mean you had to have 70. So, but you're great job. All right. Who else? What else you guys thinking about it?
I would say one more thing. When you guys go on these listing appointments, check out the competition, and if you have a clue, look at showing time. Look at how many showings are they having? How many showings do they have for that week? Not necessarily be able to go back in time, but if you FMLS fast stats, there's a metric that shows you how many showings per listing, before it was shown, or how many showings before it went under contract. Present that to your sellers as well, help them to kind of understand where this market is and help validate why you should price the home competitively.
Yeah.
Those days are gone.
Well, we've been talking a lot about when you're in your listing presentation and what have you, but same for buyers. I ran many CMAs on pretty much every property that I showed, much less wrote an offer on, because I wanted to tell my buyers, hey, buyers, this neighborhood, they're getting 2% closing costs on average. They're getting a sales price to list price ratio of 98%. So that when the buyers came in and they're hearing the news talk about how we're shifting into a buyer's market, I literally just watched something on CBS News say buyer's market ? As the headline. I'm like, no, we're not in a buyer's market in Atlanta, but your consumers are hearing that. So telling them, no, we can't go in 20% below list because the home is actually properly priced. And as Curt was just talking about with the InfoSparks, again, here's a chart, 10 listings or 10 showings in December 2022 for all of FMLS before it went under contract. Guess what? In January of 2020, it was 10 showings before it went under contract. And then in 2021, 14. Hey, Horace, you got your hand raised. What you got?
I did that same thing, but and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm always open for correction. I did that same thing with someone. I was like, it may have been 10 showings during the pandemic market because, he was trying to drive up the price more and more. Just to try to see how many offers before they cut it off. Now the 10 showings is just buyers saying, okay, I want to see what else is out there. Or, they're taking more of their time to pick the right house because there's less pressure to jump on it like they did a couple of years ago. So, I tell anybody with stats, is if you understand the stats, no matter what, you can present it in a positive way to win the client.
Yeah. And my thing is, and Mika's not on the call, but I love the script that she used. If you like it, guess what? Someone else does too. And if you're having 10 showings on this property, I guarantee you probably one of those other people, this is in the top of their list as well. So, because you don't want, the worst thing in the world for me was the buyers that thought something better was going to be listed tomorrow. So they refused to make a decision today. All right. All right, so we got 2 minutes left. Any last minute burning questions, thoughts, concerns, hallelujahs? Stephanie, may all your listings have that kind of attraction. That's awesome.
It really is. I haven't heard anyone say that many offers. At least 6 months.
Yeah.
So you did something right.
You did something right, and please tell that story so that you're the only listing agent in that neighborhood. So
Thank you. Yes, honestly, it was just price and how we presented it in the light of to the public. We made sure that it looked good, it smelled good, and we checked our competition. We made sure that our home screamed value compared to the other homes that were on the market and in that area.
awesome. All right. Anybody else got anything? All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us. We'll be on YouTube in a couple of days. So if you want to revisit or anything, and if you guys have any questions about what we were talking about, like what the heck is that? Don't hesitate to reach out to Curt and I. we're both at the Midtown office. All right. All right, y'all go make it a magnificent Monday.
See you guys.
Thanks.